What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining the telebroadcast. So in this video, like I said before in my tweet, that I'm going to be talking about what I want the Giants to do for free agency. I use this website, and I have a link in the description below. It's called Spotrac. I think it's pretty helpful as far as it tells you how much money we save. It tells you, what the cap is and yada yada. I think it's helpful, but sometimes it can be a little misguided. So start off with the cap number. So as of now, the NFL has released the cap number is probably going to be somewhere around 182 to like 183 million dollars. It's not defined yet. They just said that is at least the point they're at now. They did also say it's not the final number. So it might increase, it might decrease. We never really know, but hopefully it's going to stay at 183, which would leave us with not that much cap space. And the reason why we don't have that much cap space is because we took a big cut with not having fans in the stadium. Now, we're not the only ones. Everyone else is in the same boat. This market's going to be definitely different as far as players and contract numbers. We're going to have to look for a lot of players might have to worry about getting less money because the cap number isn't going to be there for people to be able to get bigger contracts. But just to start off, I think the free agency is kind of split into three different things. First thing is cutting. So that's going to be a big thing as far as like what players we're going to cut and how it's going to help us save money and gain more money for cap space. The second thing is signing. So like who are we going to sign? Are we going to sign anyone in the first place? Slash like trading. Are we going to trade for anything? Trade picks away for any players? And then the last thing I'm going to mention is talking about restructuring contracts. Restructuring contracts isn't really spicy. It's kind of a little boring. Not a lot of people really care that much about it, but it is going to help us out a lot if we can restructure some contracts so we can get more money in the cap space. And there's a specific player that I want to talk about who I think is definitely going to be up for restructuring his contract. But to start off, I'm going to start off with cutting. So we're going to talk about who I think we're going to cut. So now cutting players is going to be a little weird because there are a lot of players. Like if you look down here, like has anyone heard of Jordan Chun? I have no idea who this man is. If we cutted him, there's going to be a lot of guys like down here that are going to just be cut, and they're not going to make the news. No one's really going to care. No offense to these guys, but really that's just sadly what the business is. Not a lot of people are going to care, and no one really knows who they are, and it will get us a couple more $1 million. Maybe around $5 to maybe $6-7 million, somewhere around there. So those are the small guys, and those are the guys that are going to get us more space and more money. But the big contracts that we're going to be cutting are guys up here. And now the first guy who I'm actually surprised we haven't cut as of already. I mean, he's not going to be on the team anymore. That guy's Nate Solder. This is pretty much came out. Every reporter around the league and around, the Giants in general have said that, yeah, it's pretty much done. It's a done deal. We're going to save $6 million with him. He wasn't really even good when we did have him. If we don't cut him, we're paying him $16.5 million, which is ridiculous. So we're going to probably cut him in general. He's probably gone in the first place. Even if we don't cut him, Andrew Thomas is the left tackle. That's his spot. He's a fourth pick in the draft. He's the guy. He's also not making that much money. So we're going to probably put Nate Solder in this crazy world of not cutting him at right tackle, which just doesn't make any sense. You want to pay your right tackle $16.5 million? No one does. So, it's sad. I wish he was good, but he's just not. He's definitely going to go. The next player who I think is for sure gone, and I'm actually surprised he hasn't been cut also already, is Golden Tate. He was another guy that a lot of people were not thrilled with. And he's also another guy who we're going to save $6.1 million with. So that gives us $12 million of more cap space just off the bat, cutting those two players. He's the kind of guy where I don't like him at all due to the fact that he's just like, I think he's like Sterling Shepard, but older and slower. That's just what I think he is. He's a little slot guy. I don't think he's that great. He used to be really good as far as when he was on the Lions, and when he ever got like free space, that was his big thing. When he got into free space, he was fantastic. Everyone loved him, but that's not the player he is anymore. He's not like that anymore. He's a little too old. I think he's going to be like 32 maybe this year, something like that, 33 or 31. He's just not it. And I don't even think he wants to be in the direction of his team anymore, because if you guys remember earlier on in the season, he was yelling at like the TV, like, give me the ball more, give me the ball more. And that pissed off Joe Judge a lot. And then what pissed off Joe Judge and the organization even more was his wife coming out going like, oh, like you got to get my husband the ball more, stuff like that. So yeah, he's gone. And when we put him on the practice squad for like a day or two, I was like, yeah, this guy is totally gone. People are not thrilled with him. He's not going to be the future of this team. Trust me. So that, again, will save us $6 million. Just off the bat right there with those two simple cuts, we're going to save a total of $12 million, just two simple cuts. The next guys that I think that have been talked about, that maybe not a lot of fans know, is guys like David Mayo, Cody Core, and Levi Tolilo. However you say his name, sorry for mispronouncing. Just cutting those three guys alone saves us another $6 million. So now we're at $18 million of total cap being gained. David Mayo and Cody Core are just not really great anymore. Levi Tololo, he saves us $3 million. He also, to me, I feel like is a for sure go because he really didn't even do anything this year. He's an old tight end. He was never regarded as a good pass catcher. The blocking, I don't honestly, like I've watched every snap and I genuinely can't remember this man being on the field at all. So he's for sure gone. Cody Core, I do feel bad about because I think he tore his ACL or something like that. He had a year. Like he had a career or like a year-ending injury, so I do feel bad about that. But he saves us $2 million, and he's just, his whole reason why he was on the team in the first place was he was going to be a kick returner specialist. Like that's not really what I want / like really need. I mean, I'm getting that with Jabril. I get that with like a backup running back or like a backup wide receiver. I don't need to pay a specialist, kick returner at all, or punt return. Like I don't need to do that. So you save $2 million. That's pretty easy. He's a guy I've seen been thrown around as his probably going to get cut too. And then David Mayo, he's not great, hasn't really ever been great, and we saved $2.3 million. He's an easy cut, and no one's really going to. No offense, again. I mean, I don't think David Mayo's listening to this, but no offense, he's just not going to be on the team anymore. He's probably done. So right there, we saved $18 million, and that's just with 5 cuts. 5 simple cuts. And like I said before, when you scroll down to players like on here, there's like a lot of guys who I've honestly, again, I love the Giants. I have never heard of a couple of these names. Like I have genuinely never heard of like Kyle Murphy, Breland Speaks, Rice and John. I have never, ever heard of these people. And, that's going to save us a couple more dollars. Now, if I had to bet, I would say we probably, just off of cutting players alone, will probably have like maybe like 24, 25, $26 million in cap space just off of cutting players straight up. Now, there's another part of restructuring contracts. So how a restructuring a contract would work is, for example, like let's say Kevin Zeitler, who's the guy I want to talk about. It's like, all right, Kevin, we're going to add a year to your contract, but we get to pay you $7 million this year, $7.5 million the next year. That would get us $14.7 million. So now that gives you more money in cap space. Now, like I said, it's not going to be a big news source. Like not a lot of people are going to care that much about it because it's not that spicy. It's not like really a lot of people get to like, oh my God, look at that. But at the end of the day, that's going to be the difference in getting another guy is like $6 million, $7 million extra dollars. That's gonna be a big difference as far as like getting extra players that I'm gonna talk about who I want to sign. So yeah, Kevin Zeitler is a guy who I definitely could see us restructuring his contract. But another thing I could also possibly see, I don't see us doing this, but it could be that we cut him, because if we cut him, as you can see right here, we would save $12 million. And $12 million would put us at a total savings of $31 million. So we have $30 million in cap space. That is huge, huge. And again, that's not even talking about the people of us cutting where we're going to get maybe another like $5, $6, $7 million. That would be big. But the only reason why I don't want to do that exactly is because I want to have consistency on the O-line. I do. I really do want to have consistency on the O-line. I don't think he's that bad of a player. He's never really, you never heard anything. He's not a loudmouth. I like him. He's not bad. And keeping consistency on that offensive line would really help it a lot, especially because it's really young. He's the veteran guy there. He's kind of the leader. I would definitely be okay with restructuring the contract and not cutting him. But if we cut him, I also wouldn't be that upset about it because I would also be really happy with an extra $12 million of total savings. So he's a little bit of a question mark. I don't really know what we're going to do with him. If I had to say right now, gun to my head, I bet we probably keep him and restructure his contract, give him another year so we can save at least $7 million. That's what I'd probably bet we're going to be at. And now we go to re-signing. That's the next phase. And the next phase of re-signing, the players we are in the contention of being re-signed are Dalvin Tomlinson and Leo Williams. Those are two big guys that people want to resign. Now, Leonard Williams is asking for mega money. He's asking for like $20 to $25 million is the number that I've been told. If that's the case, I want to let him go. Please, we cannot sign this man for $20 to $25 million. He's just not worth it. He's a good player. I like him a lot, but he's not worth the $20 to $25 million range. That's like Aaron Donald money, and he's not Aaron Donald at all. If he wants that, I'm not on board. But if he wants like 17 to 18, then I can get on board. I really could, because I think he is a good player. I think he is a good leader. You know, I've also even, because in the last game that he talked about, he said in the last game with the Cowboys in the press conference, if anyone heard him say this, he said that, you know, he's willing to take a pay cut because, you know, he wants to play in a system that he really loves. It's not about the money anymore to him, yada, yada. Now, I think it's a load of BS. I really do. If he does that, oh my God, I'd love it. But I don't think he's going to do it because, you know, ever since he's been on this team, he's been asking for money. And in all fairness, I understand it. Like, this is a business. You know, they're in the business of making money. He's in the business of making money for him. But I'm in the business of making the Giants better. And I don't think by signing him to a $20, $25 million contract will make it good, because that's going to screw us in cap space going on in the future. And now back to Dalvin. So Dalvin Tomlinson is a player that I do really like. I do like Dalvin a lot. And he's also came out and said that he's willing to take, hometown discount because he loves playing for guys like, he loves playing under Pat Graham a lot. And he loves just being in New York in general. He's been a Giant, his cool career. He loves it here. He's another guy I'd be really happy to take. And I'd take him for around like maybe $10 to $12 million. That's another guy I really want in free agency. So those are the two guys. If we could figure that out to get Dalvin like 10 to 12 and Leonard Williams like 15 to 17, maybe 17 to 18, I would be super, super, super happy if we can get that going. I don't know if it's going to happen. It probably won't, especially if Leonard wants 20, Dalvin's going to walk. If they give Leonard 20, Dalvin's gone. We can't sign Dalvin. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, but it won't. And I feel bad because I love Dalvin, but it's not going to happen. And that's why I really, really don't want to sign Leonard Williams to a $20 to $25 million contract on a multi-year deal. I don't think he's Aaron Donald money worth. He's just not. Okay, now to the third phase. I think we're on third probably. I don't know. Sorry. But that's going to be like trading / signing new players that are not on the team. So the big thing is everyone wants to sign a wide receiver. And I'm on the boat to sign a wide receiver too, 100% if the money works. But the big problem is there's like four or five big names out there that are free agencies. You got Will Fuller, who I don't want, injury prone. Sorry. Then you got Juju Smith-Schuster, who I can't stand. I do not want that guy. I also think he's a slot wide receiver, and we don't need another effing slot wide receiver on this team. Then after that, you got Chris Godwin, Chris Godwin is in the best system he could possibly be at the Tampa Bay Bucks. That guy's not leaving for sure. So now it's really down to Kenny Golladay and Allen Robinson, who have been pretty vocal, and it's pretty much, the known that they're out. They don't want to be there anymore. But there's a big problem because the Bears and the Lions have also been vocal that they're going to franchise tag both of the players. So they both have said that they want to franchise tag him, and if they do that, they're very interested in doing a tag and trade. So if we do a tag and trade, I don't know how I feel about that because I don't necessarily know if I want to trade big draft capital to them because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take high picks. I mean, I don't want to give away our 11th pick at all. So that's a no-no at all for sure. But it could take a second rounder or, a second and a third or a future first or a future second. It's going to take a lot of draft capital because those guys are really, really, really good players. So yeah, I don't know what we do there, but if they hit free agency, then I want one of them. And I want one of them badly because then that opens our market for the trade, for the draft, sorry. If we can then therefore like open the draft up completely, and we could draft a player like a Micah Parsons or maybe like another defensive player or even, like a Kwity Paye or a Greg Rousseau. Those are guys we can go after and not go after another wide receiver. If we can get our big name guy for Daniel right away, our wide receiver one, instead of drafting a hopeful wide receiver one. So I am in the market of getting a guy and signing a guy, but I'm not in the market of doing a tag and trade because the tag and trade is going to take a lot of money. And sadly, Giants fans, I think that's where this is going. I think they're going to tag him, and I think they're going to want to do a trade, and I think it's going to take a lot of draft capital. And just draft capital that I'm not willing to give up at this point right now. Okay, so on to the last piece. And this is a piece where not a lot of people I feel like are talking about. as far as what cornerback. We need a cornerback too to sign. And I feel like a lot of people are throwing out, let's sign like a, like an old veteran star guy that was really good. He can have like his year and then be done. You know what I mean? But I don't want to do that at all. I do not want to sign a guy. I've seen names being thrown around like Richard Sherman, like Xavier Rhodes, Devin McCourty. These guys are all too old, and sadly, they're a little washed. They were great players in their time. That's just not where they are anymore. So I don't want to do that in the slightest at all. And I am actually a little afraid if we do that, I will be really upset. But what I do want to do so desperately, and I would also be willing to just go, hey, screw it. Let's not sign a wide receiver. Let's address the wide receiver in the draft. Let's give like $8 million, $9 million, multi-year deal on like a nice average number 2 corner who's like 26. Then a couple names are kind of escaping me right now, but I know they're out there. I don't need a big time player. I just need a guy who just kind of does his thing, is not too crazy, a player that like no one knows about because he's just not that popular. We just need a guy that's not Isaac Yiadom, Julian Love, another player like what's his name, or Ryan Lewis. Like those players, no offense, are like a little trash. I know, at least for me, for sure, whenever the ball was thrown in their direction, which was pretty much all the time because James Bradbury would lock everything up. Whenever the ball was thrown in their direction, my heart would skip a beat of how nervous I would be because I know it would be a reception. So I want to sign a guy so we don't have to worry about that anymore. And I also don't want to have to deal with that in the draft. I'd rather just deal with the wide receiver in the draft. So if you could sign a guy who's like an average, super average corner, no flashiness or anything like that, just can do his job right, that's the guy who I want. And I would really, 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 really would be willing to throw like $8 million at that man. I would, because that is something we need desperately, desperately. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. There's a couple things that we've mentioned before as far as we're going to cut for sure, these 5 players, I'd be willing to put a lot of money, are gone. Those guys are definitely gone. Then we have to deal with the Dalvin Leo situation. Again, I would be willing to sign Leo if he wants to do like 17 to 18, and I'd love to sign Dalvin if he wants to do like 10 to 11, maybe 12. I would love to sign those guys. I don't know how the math is going to work on that, but I think it would work okay. I would love, again, like I said, I'd love to sign one of them. But if Leo wants 20 plus, I'm out. Well, I'm walking. I don't want that at all. I'll let him try free agency, and when no one gives him that contract, he'll come back to us for a nicer number because no one's going to give that man that contract. So that's where I'm at with him. And then as far as re-signing players or signing new players that are not on the team, the big one is the wide receiver. Everyone wants to sign the wide receiver, and sadly, I don't think it's going to happen because I think a lot of it is going to be like a tag and trade for the 2, Allen Robinson and Kenny Golladay. I think they're both going to get franchise tagged, and then I think they're both going to be traded. And I don't want to give up the draft capital they're going to have to give up to give him. I'd rather spend it on, like I just said, the cornerback 2. The nice cornerback 2 who's extremely average, does the job well, and is all I want. So that's free agency. And now this last bit in the video that I want to talk about is kind of like the future of this channel and releasing dates. Because I am getting a little worried as far as like ideas, because I was looking at a thing like we don't start – like the NFL year doesn't start until March 17th. So that's a good couple weeks from now, like when stuff's going to be kicking up and like when NFL news is going to be going. Like I said, whenever NFL news happens, I will report like I did with Carson Wentz in that trade. I'm sure if Deshaun Watson does get traded, I will obviously report that. So big NFL news I'm going to be reporting on, but that's not for sure going to happen every single day. So the posting every single day and having a video every single day is definitely probably not going to happen. I would expect to do every other day or every other couple days. I want to be as active as I possibly can, but again, if I'm a Giants and NFL channel, there are a lot of times in the year, there's a couple stretches where like there's just not sports, there's nothing going on. I am a big New York guy, so I love the Rangers and the Yankees. I would love to get into talking about them, maybe try to get into being able to talk about news about them, but talking Giants and stuff like that and talking football, there will be days where or times where there's not much from me, sadly. And that's most NFL, guys. A lot of guys, they have there's a dead period of for the NFL, when to talk about. But I can tell you in the next couple weeks, I'm definitely going to be recording videos on like the big 3 wide receivers and doing draft analysis on them and Micah Parsons. So the big 3, like I said, Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle. I'm going to be doing draft analysis on them. And then we'll probably be doing like other little tiny videos of just little fun ideas. Like if a cool idea comes out on Twitter that I see, I'll talk about it and stuff like that. I love to talk about the league and NFL and in general like that. So that's what you can expect the future of this channel to probably be. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tomorrow, I'm also going to be making a video with my cousin. We have he usually, when we talk about football in general, he's got great ideas of what the Giants should do. I'm really excited to talk to him. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys really enjoy that because it's going to be a lot of fun, trust me. So please come watch the video. Stay tuned for that tomorrow. I'm going to be posting that tomorrow. But today, thank you guys for joining this video. I hope you enjoy, and let's go to the Giants. All right. Peace out, guys. Thanks.